Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another mock draft. This is probably the fourth time I'm recording this as my Zoom keeps crashing, but we're doing another mock draft, weekly mock drafts. This is probably the biggest change in terms of picks. Obviously, the Jaguars have now taken pick one as the Jets beat the Rams 23-20. If you guys saw Surge, the other kid on our channel, he's a very big Jets fan. You can go check out his reaction video. But this is a pretty big draft. Let's get straight into it. If you guys like mock draft content, comment down below what else you want to see, and make sure to drop a subscribe. And yeah, let's get into it. So pick one, Jaguars. This pick will not change no matter which team gets the first pick. They're gonna go Trevor Lawrence, one of the best prospects I've ever seen come out of the draft. Tall, he's fast, he has a gigantic arm. He's just built for the modern NFL. Give him a good offensive line, some weapons there in Jacksonville. I think this team can become a playoff contender, like they were a couple years ago when they had, that great defense, Blake Bortles. Trevor Lawrence is incredible. I think they probably take him here, maybe either take a receiver or an offensive lineman later in the draft, and I think that they set up this Jaguars franchise for the future. Now, going on to the Jets pick, and this is definitely a controversial one just because I know you're losing out on Trevor Lawrence. Justin Fields is still absolutely incredible, one of the best quarterback prospects. I could definitely see the Jets trading down. I could even see them taking Penei Sewell and then maybe trading up from their later first-round pick to get Wilson, which I would love to see. Wilson has a big arm, but I think they're going to stick with Fields. I think realistically, that's probably what to go with. Fields is, again, one of the best quarterback prospects I've seen this year. He's so good, fast, great under pressure, and again has a good, accurate arm. Now going to the Bengals, this is another pick that will not change if they have this selection. They're going to take Penei Sewell. The offensive line has caused Joe Burrow to have a season-ending injury with that knee. I don't even know, but he had a terrible knee injury. I believe he tore his ACL. And like his knee popped. It looked bad. Joe Burrow, hopefully he comes back and is the same quarterback he was. You add Penei Sewell, the 6'6", run blocking as well as pass blocking, just all around good tackle, make that offensive line just a bit better going up against the Steelers. Twice a year you need to have a good offensive line. So yeah, Penei Sewell, great tackle there. They get the best offensive lineman in the class. Now going with the Panthers, I could see them maybe trading down just because I think they'll probably go with Parsons here. Who knows? Maybe they trade down, get Surtain later. I think I'm going to stick with Parsons here just because we can't do trades. Parsons is just an absolutely athletic freak, someone who's tall. He is great at blitzing. You send him into the box, and he's good at run stopping. He's just all around good linebacker, that Isaiah Simmons type prospect, someone who can just move all around the field and is really good at just being fast and getting tackles and helping out that defense. People are saying quarterback. I don't think so. I mean, I don't think Bridgewater is the problem with this Panthers team. I think their defense, the defense that cannot close out games for their life. They get Parsons, sure up that defense a bit more. Going with the Falcons here, they are so happy that they have gone up here. Originally had them going Kwity Paye, but they get the even better and upgrade prospect in Gregory Rousseau. Such a good defensive lineman, so much raw talent from the Miami pass rusher. Someone who will come in here and fill in for Takk McKinley and really be an upgrade. You add him to that Grady Jarrett, already one of the best defensive tackles in the league. And he's absolutely incredible. I think we just go and pick him up here. But next pick, we have the Miami Dolphins, where I think they might go with this is a tougher-ish pick. I probably could see them going with Jamar Chase, just because, there's not that much for Tua right now in terms of receivers. I like some of the other guys that they have, but it's one of those things where Jamar Chase is one of the most talented receivers I've seen in a long time. I know Devonta Smith, who probably right now is seen as higher just because Jamar Chase opted out this season. I think if Jamar Chase was playing this season, he would still be the best receiver in the league. He was the best on LSU 2 years ago when Justin Jefferson was there, and you've seen how good Justin Jefferson is this year, making the Pro Bowl as a rookie. They go take Jamar Chase, get the best receiver in the class, I think. Maybe they trade down, get Devonta Smith just because that Tua, Devonta Smith, chemistry they had in Alabama. But I would go Jamar Chase over Devonta Smith mostly. Now, the Eagles are in a tough spot. Jamar Chase, the receiver they probably wanted the most, and then as well Micah Parsons as another player that they really wanted. Now, here's the thing. Here's where my mock draft is kind of messed up just because I originally had them going Patrick Surtain, but I feel like with Hurts, you kind of need to add offensive threats. I don't think running back they don't need. Go receiver and, maybe Devonta Smith, but I think they will probably go with Jalen Waddle, just absolute speed demon out of Alabama, someone who's just been good for a long time. And you've seen all the receivers that have been at Alabama. Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy, obviously Devonta Smith. They have really good receivers. Jalen Waddle has been producing all that time, as well as a great return man. So, I think he's a good receiver there. Now going on to the Cowboys. This one I think is as well tough. I could maybe see them trading down, going with Cosme, offensive tackle, as they see they need that. But I think here they're definitely happy. I think they go with Surtain. I think they're very happy that he stays on the board this far. He might not. Someone who I think they were taking, I had them when they had an earlier pick. I still had them taking. I think Surtain is a top 7, top 5 talent, the best cornerback in the class, best defensive back, someone who's long, lengthy, can stay with receivers, has long arms, and can get his hands on the ball. I love Patrick Surtain. They go with him here, sure up that secondary that has been struggling this year, but their defense has been stepping up. You add Patrick Surtain in there, and that defense becomes one of the top in the league. Now, going for the Chargers, this one, I know, do you give Justin Herbert more threats? I know Keenan Allen's really good. Mike Williams is good. Obviously, Eckler, one of the best backs in the league. I could see them possibly trading up to get Penei Sewell, but I don't think they will. This one I think is a tougher one. Maybe they trade down to get Wyatt Davis. But I think here they will most likely go with Kwity Paye, just because I think obviously Ingram's getting older. You add someone outside of Bosa, and I think Kwity Paye is, if I'm not wrong, he's more of a linebacker-ish, type of pass rusher, so you can add him to that, and you can keep Ingram in there, so you have 3 dominant rushers. Kwity Paye, again, the second best in this class. I think they plug him in here. He's a great pick. Now for the Giants, I would originally have him going Kwity Paye if he's still there, and I could definitely see the Chargers going Farley. But here with the Giants pick, I could see them going Farley. I wouldn't be mad if they took him there, make that secondary even better. I don't think they will, though. I think they're going to look to add that, hopefully next Odell Beckham-like prospect in Devonta Smith, someone who's in contention for the Heisman this year. He's such a good player. Devonta Smith tears up defenses. He's an all-around receiver, tall. He can go up, catch the ball. He's good with contact, and he's a very good run after catch, lethal. If you guys have seen any of his highlights, someone who's very good run after catch. And I know Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton, not Darius Slayton, but Slayton, they're all very, very good. I think it's one of those things where if you're the Giants, do you keep Daniel Jones, and is that one of those? Is Devonta Smith that guy who's going to fill in and be the next best, wide receiver threat there? And I don't know. Sorry, is Darius Slayton? I don't know why I was saying sorry, Darius Slayton. Is Darius Slayton the receiver on the Giants? I completely blanked there. But going on to the Lions pick. Now, here again is a tough one. Waddle and Devonta Smith and Jamar Chase are off the board. I think from there's a decent drop-off in terms of receivers, and I think they could have went receiver. Obviously, the next best one I would say is Rashad Bateman, who I think has potential to be one of the best receivers in this class. But I think here, maybe quarterback, I don't think so. Stafford, I don't think is a problem. I think he's very good, and people are just hating on him for no reason. So I think they are definitely happy that Caleb Farley is still here. You put him next to Okudah, who should be back next season. Okudah has not been amazing. I think he had 1 interception against Kyler Murray this year. But Caleb Farley is very good. Again, he's like Surtain. He's one of those big, long corners. If you check his player profile, he's 6'2". That's big for a defensive back. Someone who played receiver, so he knows how to stay with, wide receivers well. He has good footwork. Someone who can play man-on-man well. So I think they go put him next to Okudah, just shore up that defense that has not been really good at all this year. Now, going with the 49ers, this is definitely one of my hot takes of the draft. I don't really like Garoppolo. I don't think he's that good. I think receiver-wise, maybe they go Bateman, but I still think that Ayuk, and something I've noticed more as I've watched more film, he is kind of that go up and get the ball receiver. He's a do-it-all receiver. As well, you add in that gadget player in Deebo Samuel. I think they have good receiving core here. I think they go Zach Wilson. I think they plug in one of the best quarterbacks in the class, in this really, really good quarterback class. With hopefully their defense back fully next year, that one of the best defenses in the league when they're fully healthy with Bosa back. And they make this team even better. Zach Wilson, again, made for the modern NFL. Massive arm and can just throw the ball so far downfield with Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. I think they plug him in here and maybe send Garoppolo somewhere else. But now going to the Broncos pick. This one, again, it says quarterbacks in need. I like Drew Lock. I think it depends on what Drew Lock is playing and if he can consistently play well. But Farley's gone. The best corners are gone. Maybe J.C. Horn here. But it's definitely a tougher-ish pick just because there's definitely a lot of things that they could go with. But I think one of their biggest needs is corner. All of them have been injured. And I think J.C. Horn is still very good. He is a very aggressive cornerback. He is a in-your-face, type cornerback. He is very, talented, and he's good. He's a good cornerback, second best corner or third best cornerback in this class, a big physical corner. They add him there. Boye, been injured, hasn't been amazing. And you hopefully get J.C. Horn with Ojemudia and make that, your two future corners. And I think that's what a lot of teams that are taking cornerbacks here are going with, just to complement their other stud young cornerbacks. Now going with the Vikings pick, I think it's one of those things where this is definitely up to opinion. Do you think they need a quarterback? Do you think they don't? I personally don't think they do. I think Cousins is good for, I would say, 2 years. So I think they're just going to make that offensive line better, which hasn't been amazing. I think they go Samuel Cosmi, someone who opted out as well, one of the tackles who opted out with Rashaan Slater. He's very good. He's huge. He's 6'7", and is just gigantic for a tackle. Someone who's so good in blocking your quarterback. I mean, there's not much to say for him. He's just a big physical cornerback. Reminds me in terms of size of Mekhi Becton, and you've seen how good tackles size like him have been doing in the NFL. So I think Cosmi here. One of the best tackles in the class, if not maybe the second best tackle. But yeah, going into our next pick where we have the Patriots pick. Now, this one is definitely a tough one. Originally, I had Kyle Pitts. I don't know. I think they might not. I think they might go do something in the offseason. But I feel like he might be too good to pass up on as well. This might be a reach, but I was thinking Tufeli. That's who I had them originally going with. But I think they go with Pitts. He's basically a receiver who plays tight end. He's a Darren Waller-like tight end. He's just a mismatch. Whoever is playing against him, big player. How tall is he? 6'5". He's huge. So, you plug him in there, and hopefully, whoever's playing quarterback this year for the Patriots, if it's either Cam Newton or if it's someone else, I think Kyle Pitts is just one of those, just absolute target on the field, someone who's very, very good. Now, going with the Bears pick. And here's the thing. I think the Bears need quarterback. I think they will address that. But is Trey Lance the option? I think Trey Lance is very good, modern quarterback. People have compared him to Patrick Mahomes. But something I've seen is I don't understand how Mac Jones is just is so low. 62. I think that's just very, very low. And I could see them maybe trading down, getting Mac Jones. But I think realistically, just in terms of now, they will go with Trey Lance, someone who's good out of the pocket, good at rushing. You need to give Allen Robinson a good quarterback, someone he really has not had throughout his college and NFL career. And I think they go with quarterback here. Finally, after, the problems with Trubisky and as well Foles, I think they finally just get their quarterback they need. Now, going on with the Raiders pick, this one I think is they could go with Owosu Karamoa. I could see that. But I think they will probably go with Osai, one of those really, really good pass rushers out of Texas, someone, from Nigeria. And I believe I think I mixed him up with Kwity Paye. He is more linebacker prospect, if I see here. Young age. Yeah, multi-purpose player. He shows comfort at linebacker. So, he's kind of a player you can move around the field at outside linebacker or edge. I think they get one of those good players. A lot, obviously, Cleveland Farrell has been injured this year, so they go with him here. Now, going to the Ravens pick, obviously, it says they need safety, but there's really no safeties this class. I mean, Trevon Moehrig, who's probably a second-round prospect, that would be a massive reach if they were to go with him here. So here I think they go with Rashad Bateman, someone who people have saying could be the best receiver that comes out of this class. He has very good footwork, good at creating separation. You give Lamar one of those tallerish receivers. Obviously, you see he's 6'1", so he's not huge, but I think he's, bigger and one of those go up and get the ball receivers. Just I don't really like Marquise Brown. I think he's more of that speed receiver. And then I think you need to give Lamar facets or different styles of players to throw the ball to. And Rashad Bateman could be that player. Now, going to Washington football team, this part, I think they're I would say they're obviously happy as they're leading the division right now, but all of the quarterbacks that we have them taking, Lance is gone. Obviously Wilson's gone. All of the good quarterbacks are gone as they've dropped in the draft board massively after winning. So I think they just make that offensive line better and go with Christian Darrisaw, someone who I've liked coming out of the class, good footwork. He's big. And I think, plug him in there, he'd be the starting tackle there for a while, and then maybe trade up and maybe get Mac Jones or Trask later. Or, you stick with Haskins. I doubt they will. Or you stick with Alex Smith, someone me and Serge have been talking about, and Serge has really brought me to the fact that Alex Smith really is not that bad. I think he's, can stay there for a little bit. You've seen what he's done this year. So I think they could go Darrisaw there. Now, going on to the Cardinals pick. This one I think is a tough one just because, cornerbacks there. There isn't that many good. I think J.C. Horn would have been their pick, but obviously he's gone. So I think with the Cardinals pick, this one is tough. This one is definitely a tough one, but I think that they might go with Wyatt Davis, just for the fact that, Kyler Murray just needs to be protected. I don't think they don't have an amazing offensive line. Wyatt Davis is the best inside offensive lineman in this class. He's very, very, very talented, playing on the inside as well as run blocking. So Kenyon Drake has been struggling a bit this year. So you add Wyatt Davis there, and I think that's a pick. But I think that could definitely go either way. Maybe they go Karamoa or Jay Tufele. I think that's definitely up for grabs. Now going to the 21st pick, the Dolphins. This one is my favorite pick of the draft. This one I will not change if they stay with this. Travis Etienne, such a good downhill runner, the best running back in the class. He's really a everything running back. He can catch a ball in the backfield. He can run. He's a 3-down back. Etienne's amazing, and I think you can still use Gaskin as that more receiving back. Someone who he hasn't been that established this year. But I still think Gaskin's great. Travis Etienne, just such a good running back. You add more offensive threats, Jamar Chase, and now Travis Etienne with Tua and with that defense. I mean, this team is looking so good next year. Now, going on to the Buccaneers pick. This one, I think, is a tougher one. I originally had them going Wyatt Davis. I'm kind of going off the, my head right now. I don't really but I think this one they still will go for defense. I think they went with tackle last year, but I think they'll go, if he's here, Jay Tufele. I think the best defensive tackle in this class, someone who's very good at run blocking. Not run blocking, pass, run stopping. And out of USC, he's a big guy. Obviously, he's 6'3", 300 pounds. He's just a very, very good defensive lineman. I think they'll go and grab him here. And maybe they could even trade down just because I don't think a lot of the teams here are in need of one. But going on to the Colts pick. Now, this one, I think I'm just going to – this is going to, get a lot of people mad. I'm just going to go with it just because I don't understand how Mac Jones is not higher. I think they will most likely trade down. I know this is an absolute reach. But Mac Jones, I don't understand how people have him underrated. I think he's better than Trask. I think Mac Jones is very, very good quarterback. We've seen what he's given Devonta Smith. He's in contention for the Heisman, and I think he's probably the front runner now after that game against Florida, outperforming Trask. So they most likely will not do this pick, but I think maybe if they trade down and get Trask, that would be smart of them. Or sorry, Mac Jones, that would be smart of them. But going into our next pick, where we have the Browns, and they are so happy. I don't know how he, on my board he's fallen, but Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, one of the best linebackers in this class, someone who's big, a cross-field player. He's good at blitzing. You can kind of put him in the box there. Out of Notre Dame, very, very good linebacker talent. I think something they need on that Browns defense to really shore it up. Hopefully Denzel Ward and Greedy Williams are back next year. I like Koramoah here. I think they're so happy to take him here. But he realistically will probably go higher, but you never really know. Going into next week with the Jaguars, and I think this one they have to address offensive line. I feel like just because receiving wise, I would say the bet and Terrace Marshall's there, which could be good. I think they could probably go with Kadarius Toney in a later round. So I think they will go with Rashaan Slater, someone who I personally think is the second or third best tackle in the class, but I think he drops just because of his size. He's only 6'3". Let me just show you guys here. 6'4". He said he was 6'3" when I searched up on Google, but 6'4". I know that's, obviously tall, but not as tall as some of the other guys, like Cosme, who's 6'7". It just gives them so much of an advantage. Obviously, Slater can't do that much. But I think the Jaguars are still so happy to get him here. Obviously, he was good at blocking Chase Young last year, and Chase Young's one of the most dominant pass rushers in the league right now. So they go Slater, protect Trevor Lawrence at all costs. Yeah, Slater's, I think, definitely good and high talent, but just goes a bit late here. Now, going on to the Jets pick. This one, I feel like they could go with maybe tackle. They could go with maybe receiver. And I really, really think it's a tougher pick. I really think that they should go with Terrace Marshall. I think he's a really good receiver, but I think realistically, maybe Eric Stokes, maybe Elijah Vera Tucker, and I think I'm gonna go with Elijah Vera Tucker. Maybe I think they need to improve that offensive line. I think in the offseason, maybe they go with Allen Robinson. Um, and I think they can go with a receiver later in the draft if somehow Terrace Marshall falls to the second round. Maybe they go with him there. But I think Elijah Vera Tucker, one of the best inside offensive linemen in the class. He's so good, talented from USC. And I think you protect Fields or whoever, whatever quarterback you draft, you protect them. Going on to our Titans pick. This one, I think the possible trade down. I would honestly, that would be awesome if they went with Terrace Marshall. He's add him to AJ Brown. That would be incredible. But I think they will realistically probably go with Eric Stokes, someone who's been very good for Georgia this year, good at breaking on the ball. I think there's a bit wrong. There's obviously some hiccups with him, but that can be fixed just with training. And so I like Eric Stokes. I don't see much else they can go with here. But going into our next one where we have the Steelers pick, saying they need offensive tackle the most, and I think they go with Liam Eichenberg. Out of Notre Dame, the history of Notre Dame offensive lineman. Obviously, Quentin Nelson, the best guard in the league, probably the best offensive lineman in the league. And Liam Eichenberg is a good tackle. Obviously, he is 6'6", so he's a taller guy. And I think he goes in, plays for the Steelers team, and hopefully protects whatever, wherever they go. And I know people are like, why not Kyle Trask? And I don't think that, there's just that much of a need for him. I think Kyle Trask is a good quarterback, but I think, I think they could get him in a later round. I think he's going to drop a bit. And originally they maybe go Mac Jones here. Maybe if he falls from the Colts, I think, obviously this draft is not as what you guys were thinking, but, I think it can go either way. Now going with the Saints pick. This one I would say they're very, very happy to get. As Zaven Collins from Tulsa has fallen, someone who's a very good player all around, all around the field, someone you can put in coverage, and he's very, very good. He's a physical linebacker, and I think it's all about can this defense get better? How are they improving this roster? Just because their roster is really, I would say they have the most overall good roster in the league. But I say linebacker, basically their best one's Demario Davis, who's more of an outside-ish linebacker. You put Zaven Collins in that inside linebacker spot, and I think he fills in very, very well. Now going on to the Bills pick. Originally, I would say, go with cornerback. Shaun Wade, I could see them going with here, someone who's fallen so much this year, but someone who's recently risen is Nick Bolton, and I think they'll go with him here. Someone who's such a physical linebacker, and I think that's what the Bills like doing, physical football, physical defense. You add him there to that already very good secondary, and, Poyer, Micah Hyde, and Tre'Davious White, and Bolton just fills in that linebacker spot, which I think they need. I'd say you put him on the inside, and he's just such an aggressive linebacker who can make tackles. Now going on to the Packers pick. This one's scary to think about. If somehow they maybe go with Shaun Wade, I doubt they do, but I think they go Terrace Marshall, someone who's so good in contact, doesn't feel contact when going up to catch the ball. He's just such a good receiver. And I think obviously he's been that guy in LSU as I think he's not obviously happy that Jamar Chase opted out, but it's given him more opportunity this year. And, he's taken it. Terrace Marshall, just such a good wide receiver out of LSU. And I think you add him. Finally, the Packers go and help Aaron Rodgers and Devonta Adams and Aaron Jones and add Terrace Marshall to Devonta Adams. And that's a lethal receiving core already. Now the Chiefs pick says they need wide receiver, the most. And that would actually be, if for somehow they went Terrace Marshall, who, 6'3", taller guy, but if somehow Terrace Marshall fell, I would love them to take him here. But I think this is a pick. They could go offensive line. I think obviously protecting Patrick Mahomes is important. So I think that's what they will do, and I think they'll go with Creed Humphrey, someone who I actually have started to like a lot more. Obviously, he's finalizing my draft. Someone who I've started to like a lot more. Good offensive line of Oklahoma. I've been watching him since last year, and I think he's really good. A big guy that can just go up and do things. Obviously, 6'5", he's a bigger player, and I think he's just protecting Patrick Mahomes. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe. Let us know if you want more mock draft content. And please let us know what you think of the mock draft down below. This is, one of our most popular videos overall, thousands of views together. So thank you guys so much for the support. We'll keep coming out with videos, and we will see you in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching.